In this video, I'm going to show you how I took a stock RTR heavy 72 volt from looking like this thing to this decadent street ripper begging to be wheelied and stoppied. But the TLDR, the summary, the bottom line up front, the bluff, if you shall and will, popping up on screen right here is the build list, all the parts that have gone into this bike. That's all you want to know. What you got on that thing? But if you want to hang out for the process, kind of a vlog style, I got a camera strapped to my titty nips, so you're going to be absorbing the sights and smells of my living room as I'm banging my knuckles and yelling obscenities you've never even heard of. Working on this bike that was out of commission for a long time. This is the same bike I ate shit on real hard. The bike is fantastic. Low maintenance, and if you come from a world of 50s, 85s, 110s, 2 and 4 stroke, gas pitters, thumpers, and zingers, I don't know what you call a 2-stroke, you know? Thumpers before stroke, 2-stroke. Virtually no maintenance, a surprising amount of torque, with the exception of my unit, which has had some rare problems, such as a battery failure. They're pretty darn reliable units, and the customer service is solid. You can get your replacement parts under warranty or outside of warranty directly from the manufacturer. They also have a host of upgrade parts when you are ready to customize your pit bike, because you are going to want to do that. There is an affiliate link down there in the description below, which is also a discount code. Saves you 5% at checkout towards any parts or even a whole bike over there at Electro & Co., which is a really nicely laid out website. I spend way too much time over there looking at things I have no intent of even buying. Without further ado, kick off those sweaty ass Birkenstocks. I don't know why I assume that's your footwear of choice. You knock off those sweet little loafers. So I'm trying a new method to the madness, a new way to record. I am wearing my DJI Action 5 camera. It's comfortable to wear. I got both my hands. I can be jigging and jacking my ride. That lightweight sprocket is going to go on the stock rear knobby, which I will occasionally switch back over to. I would say 90% of the time it's going to be running these 14-inch street tires. The main thing we're installing today is going to be the headlight kit, which you should really have a headlight on this bad boy for trailing and also for night riding. If the kit does come with 6 additional accessory ports or plugs, if you're going to add things like a USB charging port for your phone or the LED RGB underglow that you can control with your phone to change colors. This is a shift lock from Locked Up Stunts, which is going to be really nice to be able to rest my foot in there. I did get it in white. Ooh, my arm. Crossbar needs to come off. I'm gonna use the stock tool set. I think I left one of these a little looser than the other. So this is the stock bracket, heads-up display, your screen, and you're no longer going to use this. You are going to use the headlight bracket, which also doubles as your mount for the headlight. Not the smoothest install. I didn't like this step, and I didn't like this step. And a little note to the audience. These handlebar switches are freakishly cheap feeling. So I got the wires running somewhat neat like, and then I took off these 2 wires for the skid plate so I could pull it back like that and run this wire on the inside to the brake line and plug it all in. I will not be able to use the storage bin, so that was kind of a waste of 50 bucks on eBay or whatever, because now I'll have the adapter in there. It does come with a little mount for the tool bag, but it's not as much storage as this. Get this fucking fat hog out of here. This isn't packaged all cool like the other Electro & Co. accessories where they have some clever placard telling you to pop a wheelie or be a dank dude or something like that. It's all business. Now, it says torque. They only sell 1 mod motor, but there's actually multiple configurations. I watched the video where Sir Ronster came out to Electroland, their testing facility, and tried 3 different variants, and they end up landing on this high torque variant that is now sold for the masses. I do like that the sprocket and all the included wires, or necessary wires, are included, I should say, but I don't like that this is identical looking in appearance to the stalker. They better not have sent me back my stalker. The power cable's bent to shit, but it'll just expand and it'll be fine. It's not crimped or anything like that. This is more along the lines of what I'm used to. Send it, shred it, smack it, rip it, dip it, flip it, and of course a sticker. So 2 things that were not included in the mod motor package because they're really down to business with that one. Phone charger. Yes, that'll be hidden somewhere on the bike. And RGB ambient lights, or rock lights, or as Electro & Co calls it, Bluetooth controlled RGB lights. So here's a close-up look. Don't mind the Lost World Jurassic Park playing in the background and the fact I'm using the built-in iPhone microphone, so the audio quality is a dick and a half. You have 2 USB-A's and a USB-C, all 3.0 PD fast charging. Cord's long enough to where I should get the sucker basically up underneath here somewhere. The RGB underglow kit looks very well put together. And then this right here is gonna be ripping. So this is super weird. I'm gonna have to engage the macro lens in it. No, there we go. You can see it good like that. There's silicone squirting out of the side of the motor. Is that normal? So if you're feeling like there's no instructions, well, you might be right, or there might be a QR code on the back of the... 3 things I'm not a big fan of. There's no instruction manual for this fucking RGB kit. 2, the QR code takes you to an app, which takes you to a screen that then jumps you to the App Store, which shows you a 2 out of 5 star app that looks janky as shit. And 3, the cordage, the wireage for the RGB strips, since this is not specific to the RTR, it's labeled for Razor pit bikes, which are pretty much the same size, but there's a lot of extra slackage here that I'll have to bundle up. Zip ties, which I'm doing anyway. You got your shorts, your mediums, and your highs, and the long boys are bent like my nose. 1 of 2 motor mounts is on. Here's the stock length chain, but I also do have the extended 140 link chain as well, because I do have the big boy sprocket on there, and I'm not really sure if the standard pit bike chain will work for it. We'll need this chain. And there's a good amount of factory grease on there. I'm gonna get a little ranty and ravey for just ravey? Yeah, let's go to a rave. I'm gonna bitch like a bitch for a second. So I bought 2 of these juicy upgraded chains. A week later, Electro & Co comes out with a new upgraded chain called the Thicc Boy. Maybe get eventually. The stalker is 2 links too short, and the universal 140 link is 5 links too big if you have the 14-inch street tires or supermotos. I hate to be a whiner complainer here, but it doesn't say any notation on the site will not work, and they do require link removal or modification to work with this particular kit. Look how far extended the chain tensioner has to be in order to have the ever little bit of required slack, since the motor is mounted directly to the swing arm. And keep in mind, these stock chains stretch insane within about 50 miles, so you're gonna be at the absolute end of your adjustment here in no time and require a new chain, at which point getting an aftermarket, one of the 2 options that they have now. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a test rev with the high torque motor here. Everything should be connected and ready to go now. Oh, no. There it goes. That's smooth. Not exactly what I expected. There's still a decent amount of twist before it starts activating. This will be adjustable when you get an aftermarket controller. Mini Betty stripped down to the mini bits of the bare frame. Yes, you heard me correct. The plastics are off again.
Not again, man.
Is that possible?
Whoa, before you judge too hard, this time it's just for some light cable management. Some of these Velcro zip ties, as well as these dangly boys, which I've used for cable management in the gaming world for gaming PCs and stuff. And guess what? It works for bikes. But I'm gonna be cleaning everything up, repositioning my LED lights to where the individual LED lights cannot be seen, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves with LED lights. They look tacky when you can see the actual light strips, in my opinion. I just like to see the cast glow, like that TV over there, as opposed to like the rope lights we used in the 90s in our rooms, which were cool for the day right next to your beanbag chair. The mudguard, you lose the ability to use the factory mount because you have to remove that whenever you get the DC adapter for accessories, which I have the additional ones neatly secured up here. What I'm gonna do is just, I got real, I don't know why I sounded like Jersey Shore there for a second. What I'm gonna do, sweetheart, if you grab me by the Barcelona, that'd make any fucking sense. I'm gonna screw it on right. I'm gonna have to bend this a little bit, but it'll go like that and it'll work, and it'll protect some mud and sand from splittering and splattering, but not from here to here, just from here to here.
So here's some brand new pads. Here's the old pads, which as you can see still have a lot of life, a lot of thickness to them, but they must be glazed or something. The Mini Betty build is just about complete. I feel like it's been little bursts and stutters, thumps and pumps. It's been more of a, oh, trickle, here's some parts and pieces, here's some more a week later. And I would have rather had all the shit arrive in one day from one source and just right there. But I got a shift lock from Locked Up Stunts, trail bag and grips from Amazon, bunch of parts from Electro&Co, a custom seat from Bolts and Volts, and I spray painted some stuff, aka the Rattle Can Special, myself. So that takes time, because if you're doing it properly, you clean it and you prime it and 3 coats of base color, and then some kind of a clear coat or sealant at the end. I did go with a matte finish, so you can see the plastics are glossy. These side bad boys are matte. That's matte. I think this all looks so sick. Speaking of white accoutrement, I'm definitely going to include this as part of the build. I've always wanted a white helmet, never had one. Fox is a long-running company in motocross gear, and you can cross that gear right on over into electric pit bikes, why don't you? 5 core or V core. Oh, that's oh my sweet lord. Yes, as predicted, the white helmet and white goggles goes decadent on the white bike. I don't know why it wouldn't, and sure enough, I'm gonna have to get some white kicks as well, some sneakeroonies. This also has MIPS protection, which is an additional layer of, it's basically rolling your neck so it doesn't snap right off. It has nothing to do with DOT, SNEL, or ECE. Those are all region-specific protections. DOT, Department of Transportation, being the lowest grade North American standard. Looks like a stormtrooper thing with the white and black. It's gonna go perfectly with this build. Like I said, I always wanted a white helmet. The seat, I absolutely love it, and it's a damn good thing that I do love it because it is the most expensive upgrade on the bike and also the one that I had to wait the longest for. That and the high torque upgrade motor, like tied for wait time. With the seat, I didn't want to be not able to ride the bike, so I bought a stock replacement seat so I could send in another stalker to Bolts and Volts while he reupholsters it, adds foam, padding, the gripper strips, the custom embroidery with the channel name. Provides a ton more grip and wheelies and a bunch more padding on the old prostate, and it looks cool as well. She's heavy. She's heavier than the stalker.
It came! It finally came! The big one.
Bro, my God. Okay, so she's thicker. As you can see, there's more padding and pudding in there. He put a little bit of gel for my prostate in there, so it ain't taking such a pounding. His logo, which I think looks super sick. A couple of gripper strips here. And then in case you forget what channel you're watching, take a glance right between my crotchal region, right between the legs, and you'll see it right there. Oh, honey. Oh. So my bathroom scale will not work, and the little digital scale that I use for electronics reviews, like controllers and mice, to get the grams of the gadgets that the nerds like. It's okay, I'm qualified to call them that because I'm amongst my people. I'm just gonna tell you by going like this with my hand, this sucker weighs a lot more, which is good. It means it's got some foam in there, a little dampening for my tushy. This also looks good. So I do need to take these 3 screws and take this shroud off the stalker and pop that on there because right now it doesn't mount. So that's lining it up in the back, and as you can see, there's like this huge gap and it doesn't snap in on the front. That's because you need to use your... So I actually just realized the other seat came with one of these, so I think Bolts and Volts, he has a name, but I'm gonna keep calling him by his business name, I guess forgot to reattach this and just gave me the seat. I'm glad I have a backup or a spare, or else I would not be able to run this seat because it just wiggles in the front and has nothing to hold it in place, just this in the back. He was working on 2 seats, another RTR seat, and I think he accidentally gave the plastic piece to the other gentleman, but he was kind enough to buy a replacement from Electro&Co, pay for the shipping, have it shipped to my house, so did right by me. So this is what it looks like installed. Let's take a step back, take a step forward and to the side and enjoy it, breathe it in. It almost felt like it wasn't gonna work even after installing this mount, but that's because there's extra padding down here and it's pushing kind of hard up against there. But what I did is I hinged it on from the front and then just pushed it into the backlash, and it's on now. Very sturdy, very secure, and I think it looks very nice. The last piece of the puzzle, the icing on the cream pie cake, that took a turn, is going to be some fresh white grips. They're the exact same ones that are on there, but this bike has been crashed, taking a digger, so it absorbed a bunch of dirt into the grips. And also, I touch my chain to check the tension with my gloves, and then I go back on the grips, getting a lot of residue and grease up in there. These are like 10 bucks on Amazon, literally. So I'm gonna put some freshies on there, and this is going to be a clean, white, and complete build. Toyish stock chain, which I bust the balls of. It doesn't have testicles, but if it did, I'd be busting them. For looking toyish, stretching like a mamma jamma, and braking for a lot of customers that ride their pit bikes much harder than I. But I do got the upgraded chain over there, which will eventually be installed, making the build done. Unless I'm gonna have a 12 o'clock bar welded on or wrap the swing arm white or anything, I think the build about done.
We're there.
The super sad thing is I still have footage in my phone from when the bike was non-operable last time that I have yet to upload into my PC. And it's not funny at all. All the wires are intact. They're all taut, snug. Controller looks good, visual inspection wise. Now, usually for the accessories, this is plugged into here, this into the battery. I'm gonna try and troubleshoot and see if maybe it's something to do with the DC converter and just plug the battery plug directly in. Or maybe, you know what? It might be the key switch has gone fucky on me. It is loose and wiggly. See that? See that? No, you can't. Can you fucking autofocus? Thank you. In case you're wondering what this is the phone charger thing. Still charging, but 210 miles, and what I did is plug the battery in like somebody without the accessory kit or headlight would do.
Super weird. I mean, I like it, but I don't. I don't know what the problem is, but it's fixed itself. So I replugged up the wires the way that they were, and the bike just works now. What happened? It cut out multiple times, which I'm assuming is from heat. Despite the fact I have the high torque motor, I don't have the tune service, and maybe I was ripping a little bit harder than my boy, but we were doing the same style of riding and his bike didn't cut off. That's fine, no worries. But what is a worry for me is when the screen went unresponsive and the bike wouldn't even turn back on and I had to hump it back home. Not hump it, but push it. The bike rides a whole heck of a lot better than it pushes, I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah, that's a good looking bike. I wish I had my gimbal on me right now for them nice still shots. You got a little mud on you there, Betty. Clean you up. It's a beauty. The Thicc Chain has been installed. I do have the other upgraded chain. I'm so fucking terrible with my money, and definitely when it comes to electro and co parts. I bought the stock length and the universal 140 length versions of the upgraded chain, and then 3 days later they introduced the Thicc Chain. I had difficulties installing the regular upgraded chain, the gold one, which cosmetically I don't think looks as good as the Thicc Chain unless you have the gold forks like the Seronster version. Just a small cosmetic note, but I think the Thicc Chain being black goes better with the white fairings that I have. I meant plastics. I've been looking at gas bikes, a lot of sport bikes. Not to mention it is the best version chain that they do offer. It stretches the least. I've heard it's more off-road focused, a little more sealed, I guess. Obviously, I still recommend cleaning and lubricating your chain as a regular maintenance item. If you did not catch my e-ride maintenance guide, you're doing yourself a solid disservice to not do that. I've been doing physical therapy on my right shoulder, which is the only part of my body that's still fucked up from the fall, which is like 3 months ago at this point. My left arm is completely fine, where I took the brunt of the blast, but my right shoulder, anyway, we're getting into some boring territory now. It hurts every fucking day though, I'll tell you that. I've been doing wheelie practice every day on both bikes. I bounce back and forth 20 minutes on each, getting used to, whoa, tipping back in the old rocking chair, and yeah, coming down a lot. Oh yeah, it hurts the old socket that the shoulder's in. It makes a lot of noise, it talks. The main reason I didn't use that gold chain is I had issues installing it. It does have a master link, which would make installation a breeze if it fit. In my experience, the stock length was
too small for the big flywheel. Cars on the brain much there, buddy? The big lightweight sprocket that comes with the 14-inch street tires. But then the 140 link universal is about 5 links too long, and that's not a big deal because I have a little Amazon tool that lets you break chains, snap a link or two, and then relink them. That chain, thin and flimsy enough where it got bent, some of the links, and they got messed up. Couldn't install that one. But anyway, the Thicc Chain did have to remove 5 links. Yes, it was 5 links from the universal length chain, but no issues there. I used the same exact tool. It didn't bend or break. Popped the links off like it's supposed to. I relinked them. It's on the bike. Anyway, that was a real pain in the dick, actually. For something that should be an easy job, putting a new chain on with a master link wasn't that easy for me, just sharing my experience. The biggest fucking pain in the ass with the bike is that it was out of commission kind of a lot for a pretty good portion of the time that I've owned the bike. Unfortunately, the stock motor had a failure that I will take partial responsibility for. It was a hot summer day in Florida. I was running her wide and it got hot, you know, as the stock motor tends to do. It would taper power a little bit. It'd get a little bit laggy, and then the bike would completely cut power beneath me. I would turn it off. You have to come to a complete stop, turn the key back on, and the bike will start moving again. So I'm basically bypassing the overheat warning by doing that. Then I got into the crash that I was talking about earlier. I went to urgent care and got x-rays done and everything. It looked and felt like I had re-broke my left forearm, and I was not feeling great about that. But luckily, I was able to just pop back up, dust the bike off, made a funny little quip or something about, oh, honey, sweetheart, or some bullshit. Since I didn't see the rain rut, I was still on the throttle. So 25 miles an hour, it actually bent the high-rise bars, which I was able to just loosen the mount and bend it back. And, you know, it didn't bend the bars themselves, but the bars were bent forward. I ejecto-cedo-cuzzed, cannonballed over the front, 8 feet in front of the bike. If you haven't seen the video, it's pretty sick. I'll link it down there in the description below. The bike was kind enough to ride me back to my folks' house. I was in their neighborhood zipping and ripping. But then when I went to turn the bike back on, it had this error message, this M motor error message on the screen, and the motor was completely seized. Electro & Co. gave me a warranty option of a replacement stock motor or 30% off the upgraded high torque motor, which I was going to do anyway for a little more kick in the seat of the pants. That motor took, popping up on screen here is the order, when I ordered that B word and when it got delivered. Then I was riding with my buddy Drew. We're doing identical riding. He's got an RTR high torque motor, same bike basically. My bike would cut off the same way it did with the stock motor, but then it would go completely dead where the screen was off and the bike would go irresponsive. You saw that in the video, vlog style, firsthand when I was experiencing it. Electro & Co. deemed that was a very rare but very real stock battery malfunction. Now, if you know anything about electric vehicles, cars, bikes, scooters, the battery's the most expensive part. A lot of times you might as well just buy the whole vehicle. They were kind enough to send out a replacement free of charge, but that took
As you know, this is a highly complex case.
Pop it up on screen right here. When I mailed it out, because you do have to mail off your stalker, I couldn't just keep the one that was partially working but cutting out and then have them send a replacement, and then I'm staring off into the distance gazing because I think this is how it should have worked, so a customer didn't have to be out a bike again.
Not again.
Just to keep it up and running for me. I like it. I'm learning how to do wheelies on it. Anyway, so the battery, it's working now. I'm having a great time with the bike. It was frustrating having the bike be down for a good chunk of time. 2 of the 3 components that make an electric thing go. It's the motor, controller, and battery. Let's hope that controller hangs in there. That is going to get replaced with their upgraded version whenever that comes out. The noisy cricket, which will allow me to squeeze or ring. Please don't ever do that. If you're going to do that, do it up here or something. There we go. That's a little more appropriate. Jeepers creepers. That'll allow me to ring about 11 kilowatts of juice out of the high torque motor or the stock motor with that controller. I do believe Electro & Co. said that in their video where they were talking about the 2 upcoming controller upgrades. Very excited for both of those. That has been the good, the bad, and the ugly. I am loving the RTR. I love the bike. I truly do. I love the customer service. The guys are super responsive over there. Every little question question I've had, stupid little thing. Hey, some of it's kind of dumb. Is it harmful for the bike's motor, the powertrain, for me to walk the bike or push it, basically, whether it's turned on or turned off? Can I push it forward or roll it backwards? Will that cause any binding up of the motor or any problems? No, you can do that, sir. You can go fuck yourself. They didn't say the last part, but they're very responsive over there. The two issues I had on the bike were both honored under their warranty, and the motor, I was treating it kind of rough, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you. 30% off the high torque motor was very generous of them, so thank you very much for that. The battery pissed me off because that's rare. That's not their fault. It just happens sometimes. But it took a long time to get to me, and I wish I could have held on to the one that was still kind of working until the new one came and then gave them back the other one. But it doesn't work like that, and that's okay. That sucks though, especially when you're learning how to do balance point wheelies for the first time, and every day of training that you're missing it's kind of a big deal. Thank you for watching. I do have a discount code for Electro and Co down there in the description below, which does work for parts and for whole bike. So if you want to pick up the light or the heavy 72 volt, whatever you want, nuts, bolts, replacement parts, because you'll probably break some stuff ripping on your pitter. Thank you for watching. My brain is fried from wheelies. That's what I've been doing the last few days I made a video, like an hour-long video of some of my progress recently on the E-Ride and the RTR. I felt like such a moron because 2 days later, I've already made much more progress than that. It's embarrassing watching what I uploaded. It's like, oh, what a fucking loser. You're still doing power wheelies, chasing it basically. You're still at the bottom of the balance point. I mean, I did make progress in that video. That's why I uploaded it. It's like a big boy, like, whoa, look at you.
Hey, big boy. Hey, how you doing?
We're doing a couple of little dank nooners, and, well, I didn't do any, there was no 12 o'clock scrapers or anything. Wheelie's getting better, more content on the horizon, a lot mo.
Yeah, shit pops up quick.